but it does have the potential to create possible damage as a result of rotation with that cell that continues to track through. And Stephanie, just to the north of there is the other storm we've been watching closely, that one in eastern parts of Westmoreland County.
Yeah, right on the turnpike there out of Westmoreland County, and just came out of New Stanton there between really Latrobe and the Mount Pleasant area. So that's right there along the turnpike headed towards Somerset. So that area has a very strong storm with it, and that warning there goes until, I believe, 7:30. Yeah, 7:30. And
that looks like it could have some hail with it, as well as the one around Uniontown as well.
Correct. Yes.
So again, just jumping back, we are watching a tornado warning until 7:45 for parts of Fayette County. Checking to see if I have not seen any damage reports with this particular storm. Have you, Stephanie, with this?
No, I'm checking that right now. Have not seen any damage reports so far.
So more of, let's see if we can get the radar image. Coming up on Brownfield now. That particular storm is on your doorstep, so Brownfield, head to an interior room. Storms do have a history of creating some damage just to the north of you. Jamonville, it'll be just to your south. Looks like it may be tracking also headed towards Wharton in short order, and some of the areas now that are closest to the center of what appears to be the circulation. Here's Chadville, just to the north of Collier Road, possibility of some rotation, and also Oliphant Furnace. So these are some markers for you if you're watching us from Fayette County. The storm appears to have cleared Uniontown. Is that correct, Stephanie?
That's just south. It's just south of the main town. So South Union and Chadville there and that location. Morgantown Road, if you're familiar with that location. Also looking at that right there, headed towards Hopwood.
All right. So let's, there are some areas, there's Wharton and Stewart headed actually to the southeast, correct, Stephanie? That's
yes.
The general movement.
That's correct.
At a rapid pace. So it's going to be coming up in Wharton here, likely in the next 10 to 15 minute period, if not sooner, as that particular storm is tracking southeast and southeast. There's Hopwood coming up into your area there around 7:21. And eventually tracking southward across the area. This particular storm looks to be about the last of the stronger cells in western Pennsylvania, but unfortunately we have crews in Findlay around Union. Is that correct, Stephanie?
Yes, that's correct. We have crews headed there due to some damage that was reported in those locations from that tornado warning we had earlier.
All right. I am just checking here to make sure we're not missing any updates from the National Weather Service. Again, a Doppler radar indicated tornado possible in Uniontown or in Wharton. Headed now south and east-southeast. No damage reports with this particular storm at this point, and we will continue to track this. And we will be... I was going to say we're going to jump over to our streaming platforms and send you back to regular programming at this point, and then we will jump back in as we get new updates on this particular storm. But again, a tornado warning in effect now for Fayette County until 7:45. That particular storm headed towards Hutchinson. As we get new updates, we will jump back in. Jump over and join us on our WPXI streaming apps. All right, thanks for sticking with us. Again, if you're just joining us, we're tracking a tornado warning for Hutchinson, also for parts, it's just to the south of Uniontown, and the storm appears to have some loose rotation with it, but what's happening is the radar beam is shooting from moon, so it's shooting at a higher elevation, and so oftentimes it misses some of that low-level rotation. And as that storm continues to track to the south and southeast, it's moving at a rapid pace, just to the south of Uniontown. There's Uniontown, and let's get you a marker. Hutchinson, that storm is looks to be just at the base of Hutchinson. Stephanie, I'm not really seeing a tight connection with this. Are you?
I'm not, but I did see some strong wind gusts on this, over 55 miles per hour. Let me see what I have latest here, coming in at about 41 miles per hour over Hopwood Fairchance Road in that location.
Let's see, we've got, try to get a better radar image so we can get a better look. I don't see a distinct hook on this at this point, or defined tornado, but even so, the National Weather Service seeing rotation within this cell, and that tornado warning continuing there until 7:45. Just trying to get some adjustments on this radar so we can get a better look at what that storm might be looking at because of the radar beam. Maybe a little loose rotation in there, but no, it's becoming more diffused or less organized, which is actually good news. The tighter the green and the red and the brighter the colors, the worse the possibility there of having a tornado. Just checking here. Well, we do have some. That's the Mount Pleasant area. There's Wharton. So it appears that, Stephanie, all indications are that part of the storm, at least,
looks a little bit weaker.
It does. It looks like the core of it may be right around Wharton. If you're watching us from Wharton, still it would be good to go to a safe place, an interior room if you have, or if you have a basement, head to that, or an interior room, a hallway, even a bathroom. Interior bathroom is always a safe place too, as that storm continues to track southward. Just checking some of the updates, Stephanie. I'm not seeing any new information coming in.
We have, it's now southeast at about 45, so a little bit slower than we had earlier, but that's still pretty quick. Farmington, about 7:30 is the timing on this. It does include Chalk Hill, Ohio Pal, and also Fairchance in the warning.
And just as kind of a follow-up to that Finleyville area, it looks like there is damage in the Finleyville area as a result of that initial storm that you were tracking coming in around about an hour ago, Stephanie.
Yeah, that storm had a history of severe weather on it before it turned some rotation there through Findlay and out of Washington County there near the Allegheny County line as well, near the Trax Farm area. So there was possible siding down near the Dairy Queen there in Findlay. So something we are checking into as well. We're sending a crew in that location where there may be some damage out of those spots. And
this particular tornado warning, as we've been saying, is for Fayette County. Mm-hmm. And at this point, again, just looking at some of the rotation with our Doppler radar, I'm not seeing a tight connection with it. I am seeing the opportunity for some gusty winds, some stronger wind gusts. But at this stage of the game, hopefully that rotation stays rather weak, and we do not have any confirmed touchdown from that one.
Right. If you are traveling in that area, you should be off the road, though, first of all. But this is very near Route 40, a very heavily traveled location that this is going to be moving into. So regardless of rotation, we have very strong winds in the area, of course, and some very heavy downpours. And this little bit where we were watching where there could have been some rotation looks a little bit, there's still a little bit of rotation there with this. This is going to be near Route 40. So heads up in that location, if you're in that area, this is kind of where we're seeing. We have some 44-mile-per-hour winds there with a little bit of rotation, could be in this location here. Just kind of widen the view, give you an idea. South of Brownfield and just south of Hopwood, but tracking To the east, so that does include Route 40 there and Wharton Furnace Road. If you're in that location, that does include Chalk Hill, Ohio Pal, in these locations here where you kind of see maybe some, Stephen, you noticed a little bit more of a rotation now.
Right.
It did dissipate there for a minute.
Yeah, there's a little tighter. It's just to the north of Wharton, and at last track, I'm just checking the speed again, Stephanie. 50 was the track, correct? 50 miles per hour?
It's just been updated, yeah, back to 50 now.
Wow. So Wharton, it is coming up on you very shortly. It's just at the outskirts of Wharton. There is sort of the latest track on it, headed to Wharton, Henry Clay, Addison, Elk Lick, and eventually jumping south towards Friendsville. But the tornado warning in particular now for Fayette County and Wharton, you are in the headlights here coming up in short order. In about 6 minutes, that storm, or at least the center of circulation with that storm, will be in your area. So Wharton, it's time to take shelter in an interior room. And if you have a basement, head to a basement. Because it looks like the circulation may be trying to strengthen or tighten, as Stephanie was just saying, with that particular storm.
Yes, and that's just north of Elliottsville. So if you're in that area, this is what we're talking about, Wharton Furnace Road, possibly headed right over that location currently. Lots
of lightning, as can be expected with this as well, as that storm has tracked southward. I'm going to turn off the radar just so you get a little perspective there. There's Wharton and Uniontown, and you see the lightning strikes there just to the south of Uniontown. So the core of what could be some potential rotation or potential tornado seems to be in that area, and likely getting some hail there, I would suspect, Stephanie, with that part of that storm.
Yes, I was just reading some more information on the tornado warning we had earlier, with some damage, debris from a mobile home, possible roof torn off, and some huge trees are reported down in the area of Finleyville.
So this is that particular storm, and this is one of the products we can use to kind of show potential hail and smaller hail, but even so, it's an indication of the strength of the storm as it's continued to track. And, you know, here's Wharton right here. So this area under that tornado warning, and likely it looks like that northern part of the storm may be the hail-producing core. As you can see here on this radar image, it's got kind of the bright white with it. That might be that hail track I was just showing, but Wharton here to the south. This is where the center of what appears to be some of the stronger circulation is with that storm. And Stephanie, as you said, it's kind of pulsing up and then pulsing down in terms of its rotation. Seems to be weakening again. And we have until 7:45 for the tornado warning. No real concise signature. This is a product we can use from radar just to look inside the storm. And basically what this is doing is checking to see if debris is being lofted into the air, which would confirm almost a tornado with that. But this is the area we're watching closely as we're seeing that come down and track eastward.
This is also a very hilly area there, very high elevation. So that also plays a role in what we're seeing back from the radar, too.
That's a great point, including the distance, as we were just saying there. The radar shooting from Moon Township in Allegheny County, so it's a distance away, and that storm's still tracking southward towards Henry Clay. That includes all of Fayette County, I believe, doesn't it, Stephanie?
Yep. So most of Fayette County there, right there along 40, following right that all the way to the 40 and the line there headed towards Maryland.
Yeah, so, and that appears to be the storm's almost following that.
Yes, it is, right along 40.
Yeah, it's almost going right along. There's 40, so the storm itself, or what could be the center of the circulation, is coming in about right there. And that is, as Stephanie was saying, spot on, right right just to the south of 40. So if you're watching us from Wharton now, you are under a tornado warning. That tornado warning continues until 7:45. And it's a radar-indicated tornado, but the heightened awareness is that we've already seen what appears to have been a touchdown in Finleyville. And Stephanie, you're from that area. Speak a little more to just some of the areas that may be in that location where the tornado possibly touched down.
Yeah, Trax Farm potentially saw maybe a little bit of a funnel cloud. We're still looking at that information there. So reports there out of Trax Farm, which is just outside of Venetia. So if you're familiar with that location there. Also near 51. So no reports necessarily towards Elizabeth, but we certainly had that tornado warning right over Elizabeth coming out of that location out of Finley Township earlier, Finleyville. So we are going to continue to get some information. And Union Township, it was an area that may have saw the most out of that, where there has been some damage in that area, potentially of a church in that location. We're also sending a crew to that location to see what we can find here from that storm that kind of just really spun up pretty quickly and prompted that tornado warning just a little after 6 o'clock, about 6:15, 6:20.
So fortunately, we haven't heard of widespread injuries, but there may have been some injuries with that particular storm, and that's why we're staying with you tonight, in addition to the fact we've got this active tornado warning until 7:45 for Uniontown and for Fayette County, sort of the south and southeastern part of Fayette County. Another quick check here, and it looks like might be getting a little more diffuse or less organized, but Wharton, you are still in that path. Henry Clay, it looks like the storm may just be to the right at Wharton here. If you put the connection in, that is where that line is, running from Wharton Furnace Road there through Wharton and then sort of southward. That could be an area that's getting some of the stronger winds, and we're watching closely that area just to the south there. So, Wharton, if you are, as you're with us tonight, headed down Fairway Drive, headed to Flat Rock, the storm that could be producing a tornado is headed in your direction.
Yeah, and that is in that location where we're talking about Markleysburg, Chalk Hill, Ohio Powell, all could have possibly tornadic thunderstorms in those locations. So as well, this is now a little bit slower, but still moving very quickly to the southeast at 45. With the latest update from the National Weather Service.
So it is making rapid progress, which is good news in some respects, Stephanie. That way it's, hopefully getting out of here and not lingering in those areas.
Right. And so this warning goes until 7:45. So we have another 9 minutes on that warning.
Trying to see there. It looks like there's a secondary little cell coming into Uniontown.
Just behind it.
Yeah, just behind it. Maybe the two, hopefully the two there that second storm maybe will weaken the first a bit. That would be wonderful at this stage of the night. We do have crews out, as Stephanie was just saying, possible tornado touchdown in Finleyville. We're getting reports of some damage there. A separate storm, correct, Stephanie? That was not the same storm.
Right. These are two separate storms. This was the storm that was worn through Washington County, through the city of Washington, tracking towards Fayette County, really through the evening hours. So that started about 5:30 and has been ongoing ever since.
Stephanie, I'm not seeing... Just checking to make sure I'm not missing anything in terms of
damage. So no damage reports from Fayette County on this tornado warned storm. No.
Good. These things, we got that little break in the rain today, and that just kind of set the stage, didn't it, Stephanie?
It sure did. It really did. Yeah. We started with a nice, bright, beautiful blue sky with some fog early this morning. We had a very nice morning. Then that rain came through this afternoon with that brief break that really fueled the atmosphere here for us this evening.
And this should be hopefully the last of it for tonight and Mother's Day as well.
Yes, it looks pretty clear behind these storms that are left over. If you want to flip over to my radar, yeah, there we go. So we have just that line of storms that had some severe weather on it through Westmoreland County, now about to cross over the border. That's right there on the turnpike of Westmoreland County and headed towards Somerset and in the Seven Springs area there, also Donegal area. So that is pushing out of here, which is great news. We also have a little area of some heavier rain off of 119 outside of Connellsville that's pushing out of here as well very shortly. And this last little bit here that still has that tornado warning on it, which is a dangerous storm here, is moving out of here to the southeast at about 45, and that warning goes for another 6 minutes. But as I wind the view here for you, if you want to flip over to my radar, there we go. As I wind the view here to show you these storms that I was just talking about through Westmoreland County, Fayette, this is pushing out of here. Once this clears, we should be in much better shape as we go through the rest of the evening. And again, still looking at that tornado warning there along 40 outside of Uniontown and tracking to the southeast at about 45, headed towards Henry Clay. It does include Wharton, right there on 40. You can see it's right over it, tracking south and east towards Henry Clay and Markleysburg. And this warning goes until 7:45. So we've been watching the connection there and to see if we could see some rotation. Let's just take a look at the latest update on that. You can kind of see it does look a lot weaker. It does not look as tight, but there's still some. This is very high elevation, and this is very far away from the radar. So to keep that in mind as well, but definitely there on 40, tracking southeast at 45, out of Wharton. Gibson Glade there is also included in the warning. And Henry Clay. I'm just going to take a look and see if, Stephen, did you see any new information for us?
I have not. That's what I was just checking. Damage reports, pictures and damage reports coming in from Mineral Beach along Route 88 with that separate storm. Mm-hmm. Lots of trees down, but nothing new with Fayette County. And it looked like, as we were just saying there a moment ago, the two cells might be merging, the second storm kind of coming in. How they interact, always a wild card, but hopefully it'll take some of the energy from that one that's now right around Wharton. Wharton, it looks like you're getting the strongest part of the storm now in Wharton.
Yeah. The National Weather Service has put out a statement saying they will expire this tornado warning at 7:45. The threat has diminished, but it is ongoing till 7:45 and will be allowed to expire.
That is, that's good news, very good news. And again, if you're just joining us, we stayed with you because of the tornado warning in Fayette County, as Stephanie was just saying, but the storm is now weakening, and it's a great reminder that, you hear a tornado warning. What does that mean? It means, first off, that a possible tornado has been spotted on Doppler radar or a confirmed tornado by law enforcement officials, and we had a radar confirmed tornado, possible tornado, and that's why we stayed with you here with this particular storm, because there have been already damage reports coming in out of Washington County with a separate storm, and that's kind of why we're keeping this heightened awareness with this tornado warning coming through. I was just checking the Stephanie, I agree. It's starting to weaken a little bit, which is great news.
Still looking at maybe even when this does get lifted, if you are in that area, still looking for large hail potentially with this and damaging winds. So that threat remains.
Anytime the atmosphere was kind of primed up today with the winds, and Stephanie, you know this as well, watching it today, just some of the upper level winds were so strong that it didn't really take much for these storms to tap into that. And that sunshine break that we got this afternoon just sort of laid the groundwork for this western Pennsylvania run of stormy weather and what appears to have been a tornado that touched down in Findlay.
Yeah, near Venetia. That's correct. So we had rotating winds. We had winds coming from each direction, a lot of shear out there. So yeah, it did not take much. And that severe storm that kind of rolled through Ohio, this was also right through the area that moved through the other night into Beaver County. So that came out of Hancock County into Beaver County, jumping over into Allegheny County, sinking south and east really quickly. And as the storm moved, it kind of dissipated over Allegheny County and then re-strengthened very quickly in that south location of southern Allegheny County and northern Washington County was that rotation that moved right on through. So it was interesting to see how that storm kind of evolved there and how it moved a little bit all over the place once it entered Allegheny County. Right now, looking at some rotating winds, though, the velocity showing up, maybe 51 mile per hour winds near Gibbon Glade. And so we're still this is going to expire, but we still have some strong winds in the area. They're right along Route 40 and south. That is up in the higher terrain and the higher elevation, a lot of lightning. Very heavy rainfall right along that route.
Fortunate that we're not seeing any damage reports coming out of this.
Yes.
Lots of lightning, as Stephanie was just saying, and you know, some of the rainfall totals, I was just looking at some of those off camera as this starts to populate again. The darker green area is indicating the heaviest rainfall, but this area that moved through southern Allegheny County, Washington, all areas there potentially producing upwards of an inch or more of rain. There's 1 inch. There's Uniontown with the cell we're talking about, over an inch and a half. Also coming into southern Allegheny County and around Washington, upwards of an inch or more of estimated rainfall. If the storm rained for 1 hour, it didn't do that, but it gives you an idea of the amount of rain that fell just in that short amount of time.
Yes. And Stephen, I'm just seeing some possible reports from earlier on McClellan Road. That is from that tornado warning we had earlier tonight in Washington County there. There's possible damage in that location, damage to a roof, and seeing trees kind of taken out from the tops there.
Did they, it appears as though they allowed it to expire and
yes,
extended a thunderstorm warning. Is that correct?
Let me take a look at the warning here, the latest information on that warning.
Yes, I think it may have expired at 45,
yes.
45, and they continued a severe thunderstorm warning a little farther south of there.
And that's kind of going along with the winds that we were seeing there. It does indicate winds around 60 miles per hour.
So it is weakening. So Wharton, you're not out of the woods yet, not in the clear yet. Uniontown, it appears as though you may be in the clear. Connellsville, just a few showers, but severe thunderstorm warning continues there in the Wharton area. So plan to take shelter as needed. And there's a newly issued warning for that same storm in parts of northern Maryland as well. Stephanie, I'm going to hand it to you.
Okay.
At this point, it looks like, and I'm going to step over to the assignment desk and make sure we're covered with crews, since we do have some new damage reports, but hopefully these storms continue to weaken and move out of the area. Yeah,
so we're looking at that severe thunderstorm warning for that area we've been watching out of Fayette County. I'm going to remove the radar so you have an idea still where that is located. Give you the latest look on the warning. So that's right there along 40, still the area we were talking about. That's going to continue down through 68 and Friendsville, through Maryland eventually. But right now, out of Uniontown, you can see that severe thunderstorm warning, and it should go until 8 p.m. Yes, so until 8 o'clock, you do have that severe thunderstorm warning. Currently, no damage so far is being reported. Storm damage out of this location. The tornado warning has expired, and we are in a severe thunderstorm warning for that location because of the winds that are with this. So up to 60-mile-per-hour winds, and also hail within this thunderstorm warning, and that is for Fayette County. And it is now moving east at about 30. So we are looking at, it's just been moving around a little bit. It's been weakening and then strengthening. So right now it has weakened quite a bit, but it's still a strong storm. And that is why that warning is on it. So that severe thunderstorm warning. Ping pong size hail is possible. Winds up to 60 miles per hour. And this storm is moving east. So I'm going to put the radar back up. So I just wanted to show you where this was located out of Uniontown in the higher elevation there of Route 40 towards Henry Clay. So moving through Wharton, as we've been talking about. And I want to widen the view to give you an idea what's behind this, and things look much better once this line of some strong storms pushes out and out of our viewing area. You can see that area. This is the same storm here that's now not currently warned on, not currently strong enough for a warning, but it is in the Somerset area right there on the turnpike. This is the same storm that prompted that tornado warning earlier that we were covering through Elizabeth and through South Park and also Union Township. So that is now moving out. You can see there's really not a lot behind this. Also for the area of 119, you just have leftover showers. Connellsville. Out of Uniontown, you just have some heavier rain that's pushing through. That's out of Hopwood as well. There's some lightning strikes there in Hopwood. And Wharton, you still have that severe thunderstorm warning with very heavy rain, potential wind gusts of about 60 miles per hour there, and hail. So ping pong ball size hail potentially as that storm is pushing off to the east. It's moving a little bit slower because it's interacting with the storm that's just behind it. We've been talking about that. I actually want to back the radar up a little bit so you can have an idea of how this started. You could see that strong storm that was warned on through Uniontown, and as you go through time, the storm just behind it kind of takes the strength away and interacts with the other storm, and so it kind of tried to diffuse the storm ahead of it, but notice how they're both pretty strong there moving through that area. So that tornado warning has been lifted, but we do have a severe thunderstorm warning. So I want to show you that severe thunderstorm warning right there along Route 40 through Wharton and Henry Clay. So if you're in this area, that's a highly traveled road and very populated location with traffic. And this has kind of just been following Route 40 from Uniontown. So as this pushes away, it continues to prompt that severe thunderstorm warning. I'm checking out any messages to see if we have any reports. Some possible damage on Churchill Road from the tornado earlier. That was in Washington County, Library Junction, near the Library Junction area. From the tornado warning we had earlier at about 6:15, 6:20, we went on with that tornado warning. The tornado warning through Fayette County has been allowed to expire, and now we are left over with a severe thunderstorm warning for the area you see right there on your map out of Uniontown. And just to give you an idea what the radar looks like right now, we have to get rid of these storms. They have weakened a little bit, but we still have that warning. Through the Henry Clay area, you can see that stronger, bright red and pink and blue, indicating very heavy rainfall, potential hail with that as it's moving right along Route 40 and tracking off to the southeast. So we've been really watching this storm make its way into Washington County much earlier tonight, where it had that severe thunderstorm warning on it, right there south of 70, tracked towards California area, right along 40, and has been just diving south and east right along Route 40 this entire time here. Once it got to Washington, the city of Washington, it tracked more southeast as we had that other warning on the other storm. So this severe thunderstorm warning goes until 8 o'clock, so it will be up here very shortly. And just trying to see if there's any new information to give you that we're receiving. That I could pass along to you. All right. So no additional information right now. Hail reports out of Fayette County. And that is right along the storm. So that is why there is that severe thunderstorm warning, including that very strong wind that goes along with this storm. So let me take a look to see here if we have any new information on winds with the storm moving through Fayette County. And as you can see, right in that area we've been tracking, ready to head over the state line. Still getting, this is far away from the radar. This is very high in elevation, and we're still getting velocity to about 45 miles per hour. So very strong winds still right with this storm as it's tracking right through. And you can kind of see the blue marks. That also indicates hail that has followed the storm right through Uniontown, south of 40, and right along 40 for the duration of these warnings. So there's still some 50-mile-per-hour winds there coming in just out of, just over the state line. Now I'm going to widen the view here to go back to the radar. I want to see what's going on with the storm here in the way of the radar. Okay. So that storm's moving right there along 40. We'll continue that severe thunderstorm warning. I'm going to move the radar just to see, so you can see the location. There you go, right there along 40. A lot of lightning strikes with that as well. And this should go for another couple of minutes here before it expires. This is southeastern Fayette County, remember, until 8 p.m. And it is moving east at 30. Hail and winds up to 60 miles per hour continue with this line. All right. There's a lot of lightning on this. It looks pretty strong, even though that tornado warning is gone. Both of those storms kind of been interacting with each other, kind of diffused it for a minute, but you can see they're both pretty strong coming out of Uniontown. That second one there, just south of 40, headed back into Wharton. So Wharton getting another strong storm, once again, just following the storm that has the warning on it. And this warning goes for Fayette County again, as I mentioned, until 8 p.m. Hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is moving east at 30. And this warning will expire at 8 o'clock now, so it looks like it's weakening below its severe limits. So even though this will expire here in about 3 minutes, it still has strong winds associated with it, also a lot of lightning. So if you're in this location, just stay in place until the storm passes. This is going to continue to track out of our viewing area, but still a nice, decent pocket there behind that initial storm that had the warning on it. You can see coming right out of Uniontown there, south of 40 now, kind of pushing a little more further south through Wharton. So these areas that just got hit with another pocket of some stronger winds and very heavy downpours behind it. So watching that area. So this is going to continue for another 2 minutes and will be lifted. And I'm going to widen the view here as well so you can see the severe threat, once this moves out, has pretty much wrapped up for the evening, which is great news. What is left over behind, so you see back far well to the north and west, are all just showers. Up towards I-80 through Venango, that is all showers. There's no severe weather behind there, just leftover rain once this line clears here. And even the line in a storm, in the cluster of storms that were kind of moving through parts of Greensburg and Latrobe and Ligonier along the turnpike there have weakened, and it's really pressing through Somerset. So that is looking much better now. We still have this stronger storm though to the south in Fayette County, pressing there just along 40 through Henry Clay, which was prompted that tornado warning that has now been lifted. Not longer seeing rotation on the radar with that, but winds still very strong. And then that other cell just behind it through Wharton, south of 40 is pressing through. So this is going to expire here in the next minute. There is still lightning and strong winds, even though this is weakening. And let me see if we have any other information to give you here at the moment. So we've been checking all the reports and all the storm reports that are coming in. And if you have any reports, of course, safely, you can send them to us and let us know what you're seeing in your neighborhood so we can pass it along. Okay, so we have about 20 seconds left on this warning, and it should be allowed to expire. So looking at some better weather ahead for us this evening. We'll watch that warning get lifted here. And remember, even though this warning is going to get lifted, and there it goes, off the map for us tonight, our warnings have all cleared across the board, but there is still this strong storm south of Uniontown, right along 40 and south of 40, coming out of Hopwood. So if you're in this location, know that you still have very strong winds, even though they're not to severe limits. We're talking about 40-mile-per-hour winds and hail potentially with this. So we are going to hop off of here now as the storms are clearing, and the warnings all have been lifted here tonight. Once this pocket of storms out of Fayette County continues to press south and east, our severe threat will have ended now. Join us tonight at 11 o'clock on WPXI for the latest on the storms that rolled through here this evening. And of course, we'll pop back in if any more warnings come. But this is winding down now as that storm moves out of Fayette County and that warning has been lifted.